Hello there, fabulous people. Jen here, and it has been a really long time for a lot of reasons. But anyway, I am here to do a V art assignment at the Hermit's Cave of the Get to Know Your Tarot Tubers, and this is the hashtag Tarot Tubers A to Z. So, first one is age. I am 36. B for book, favourite book. I have to cheat and say 3 because there are 3 books over the course of my lifetime that had massive impact for me. The first one was Janine Shepherd's Never Tell Me Never. And I was brought this book by someone who worked with my mum after I had the car accident I was in when I was 15 years old. And this was a hugely important and inspiring book at the time. So basically because reading this book about someone who'd been in a tragic accident, hers was a cycling accident, and her injuries and damages were far worse than mine, but hearing her story was definitely what I needed at the time. And this also changed me because I think pretty much since reading this book, I really never read a fiction book thereafter. I went very much into biographies and autobiographies after this, and since then it's changed into all other types of nonfiction that I read. Second book that really changed me, and despite having had 2 copies, I have none to show you because I've lent them out to people and never got them back, is The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Doidge. And it's basically a whole bunch of compiled stories about how fascinating our brain is. The reason it had such an impact on me was because I remember doing my first cognitive psychology class. And when I first started psychology, I was doing it by distance for the first 12 months and realized that wasn't working, ended up going to actual university on campus. But doing the cognitive psychology the first time around, when I was doing distance, I hated it. I don't know, it was boring, it was shitty. I just couldn't get into it. And then I read The Brain That Changes Itself, and it changed my whole passion for psychology from the perspective of looking at the actual workings of the brain. And then the other book that is a huge favorite is Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is a favorite because it combines 2 of my loves, and that is the workings of the brain, but also the mystical as well. Down to things like the study of, what he refers to as the energy centers, what we would call the chakras, building up evidence of people who have completely changed their lives in miraculous ways. Fabulous book. All right, C, career you wanted to be when you were a kid and what it actually is now. There was a lot of careers I wanted as a kid. I think the first very stereotypical one I wanted in my very early days was to be a teacher or a receptionist. And those are 2 things I would play often, like with my sister or just alone with dolls and things like that. Then the next one I really desperately wanted to do was to actually be a wildlife ranger. And the thought of that now, I don't know how I thought I was going to do that, because as I got older, I developed a huge fear of creepy crawlies and bugs and shit like that. So that one never panned out. And it really was one of those things of people basically telling you it's too hard to do. But that's not why I gave up on it. Then there was other weird things in there as well. At one point, I wanted to be a nun. Don't ask me where the hell that came from, and clearly that didn't pan out. which I'm more than happy about. Then I did want to be a psychologist. I wanted to be a psychologist maybe from around the age of 13, 14. And I remember sitting with, it must have been in year 11 when we start having all the chats about what we're going to apply for with uni and blah, blah, blah. And it was almost like all I got told was that it's a really difficult pathway. There's multiple pathways to do it and it's too hard. Yes, that definitely played into it for me. What changed that also was the car accident I was in at 15. So because I'm born at the end of the year, I was in year 11 when that happened. So kind of a critical career year. And after that, I decided I wanted to become a nurse. And in part, that was because I was told being a psychologist was too difficult. And I wouldn't have the grades to do it, especially after how much school I was going to miss after this accident and at a critical schooling year time. So I did start uni when I left school. I started uni to do nursing. I did not last 6 months. And I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to do uni. I had a shit of a time through year 12 because of what I was going through as a result of that accident. And I wasn't ready to do it. And I'm glad and I'm happy about that. And then I did other jobs in between. And eventually when I got a bit older, I went back, I did psychology, and I am now a psychologist. So there was lots of things I wanted to do, and I did achieve doing one of the main ones. Dream for D. So, ultimate lifelong dream. So many, so hard to, I guess, put down to one. I think my ultimate dream is just to be financially secure and stable, content, happy, and just well functioning. That's pretty much it. And I would, as much as I don't like being in the water, I guess as part of that dream, I would like to be near the water. Okay, E for essential item. Yeah, I would definitely have to go with what a lot of other people have said and say it is my phone. My phone is, it has everything. It is my way that I keep track of clients. It is at times my to-do list. It is my contact with the people I love. It is my way of doing YouTube. It's my way of finding stuff out, both for fun and educational purposes. So it's definitely my phone. And no, none of us like to admit that, but that's the reality of it. F for favorite RWS deck. I didn't even grab mine. My favorite, hold the phone because it's here, is my Centennial RWS. It was the one I fell most in love with. I adore the cardstock on it. But this thing, and I have mentioned it before, can be a real bitch to me. I get real narky, shitty, like not shitty in the sense of it doesn't read well, it reads beautifully. But whenever I use this deck, I get really hard-hitting crap that can kind of be a little bit hard to take. So, but that is my favorite RWS deck. G for gold or silver. My preference would be silver. I don't know why. I think it just goes better with more stuff that I have. But in saying that, I wear both and I combine both, and I don't really care if people think that that's weird or odd. Which just reminded me I need to put my wedding rings back on because I took them off to clean them because my hand is I don't know, peeling and falling apart. So anyway, totally random shit that you didn't need to know. Height. Ooh, I didn't even check this one out. I think my license may say 175 centimeters. I'm pretty sure that's what's on my license, but it's been a long time since I've looked, and a long time since I've known or cared to know about what height I am. I can tell you my son's quite easily, because it's his goal to get taller and taller. And at 15, he is already 6'2", I think, nearly 6'3". I for ideal day. Oh, so many. Something I love doing is, on the rare occasion, my hubby and I will go away, and we'll just stay in an apartment close by. And I love just being on the balcony with my coffee, sitting out, looking at the water, and just chatting with him. So that would definitely be an ideal day, a nice warm day. And yeah, I think that would probably be the main one. J for funniest joke. Yeah, I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I am not a joke teller. I love jokes. I find them funny, but I am not someone who is funny at telling jokes. And there's not even a joke I can think of off the top of my head. I'm someone who likes really corny jokes, like dad type jokes. I love the Christmas cracker jokes. They're some of my favorite. And my son is like king of dad jokes. Oh, hopefully we are still recording, because I just got a low battery mode, as per usual for me in my videos. Yes, my son is king of dad jokes, so he cracks me up. Everyone thinks I'm the joke for finding it so funny, but I'm gonna bypass that one, because yeah, I'm just not good at that. K for kids. Well, yes, I do. I have a 16-year-old daughter who will be 17 in April, and I have a 15-year-old son. And when I had my daughter, I hated the whole like nappy bottles, the shitty parts. I loved being a mum. I hated the shitty parts. Plus, I was horrified after giving birth. The first thing I said when my friends walked in the room was, holy fuck, that was horrible. In the sense of physically giving birth. You know, people who go on about it being this beautiful, lovely, glorious time between you and your partner. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what world you live in, but I don't live in that world. And it fucking terrified me. So I knew I wanted more than one. So therefore, my decision was to have them close. What I forgot was that they would both be teenagers at the same time. Anyway, rambling as I usually do, but so yes, the shorter answer to that is I have 2 teenage children. L for living arrangements. Well, I live in our house with my husband, my daughter, in the last 6 months in particular, lives with her dad, because like I was married, had them, got divorced, married my now hubby when they were teeny tiny. I think they were like 3 and 1 when I met my now husband. And yeah, so their dad joined the army after that, was away for long periods of time. My daughter had gone and lived with him in New South Wales for 1 year. She decided that's something she wanted to do a couple of years ago. And they actually live around the corner from us. So yeah, it's like a 2-minute drive to get to their house. She is there. My son comes and goes. There's no, I mean, we're all amicable. so it's pretty much wherever they want to be. So yeah, but as they get older, I guess it's really hard to get used to that kids growing up, having their own lives, not being around anymore as much. But I'm very happy being here with my hubby as well and saying that. So, and I have all of my fur babies here. So I have my 2 cats and I have my little Papillon Cross Shih Tzu, Pepper. And then I have my 3 huskies. So Willow, Everest and Teddy. Okay, M for favourite Marseille deck, which I forgot to grab as well. But I only have 2. Yes, I only have 2 Marseille decks. I have the Cat Marseille and I have the CBD Marseille. Of those, as much as I adore the Cat Marseille, my pick of the 2 right now is the CBD Marseille, and the reason I got that was so I would have a more traditional one to be able to study. But I haven't studied Marseille that in depth. Words, Jen. That in depth yet. So yeah, it's a favorite because it's one of 2 that I have, but not really because I've used it a huge amount. And for nicknames, growing up, I was called Hen, as in Hen, by a lot of people in my family, particularly like my brother and stuff. I copped crap like Jenny Craig when I was at school, because it was obviously, I don't know, when Jenny Craig was coming out and started to have a name for herself. So my middle name is Marie. My grandma used to always call me Jenny Marie. That's actually why I named my daughter well, I didn't get to pick my kids' names. That's a whole nother story. Basically the condition was if I had my mum in the labour room, which I wanted because it was scary and horrible, that my ex-husband got to pick their names. But when I had my daughter and I wanted her middle name to be Marie because it always meant something that my grandma called me Jenny Marie and not just like Jenny or Jen, I made it hyphenated. So technically she has no middle name and her full name is Chloe Marie. Yeah, so that, again, another huge tangent. Yeah, and depending on who it was from my brother growing up, there was a lot of swear nicknames that were involved between the 2 of us. Yeah, but I think Hen was probably the biggest one. O for Oracle, favorite Oracle. My God, I did not prepare for this at all. Hang on, let me grab it. Hold the phone. Okay, favorite Oracle is this one, Oracle of Visions. And I have talked about before that I was not a Chirama Chetty fan. I ended up getting the Tarot Grand Luxe because I did want one of his styles of, you know, art to have as a deck. Did that make any sense? You know what I mean. And I also got this one at the same time because I like having, you know, Oracle and Tarot that sort of go together, and I love this. It has no words on it, nothing, not a keyword, not a sentence, nothing. But this deck for me reads like a bloody dream and I adore it. P, passionate about, I'm passionate about tarot. I am passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about, God, so many things. Let's just leave it at that. I'm passionate about tarot and about helping people, because I could go on and on about that one as well. So Q for quote. My favorite quote is, again, should have researched this better. The quote I had up in my house for years, the quote that I had up in my psychology practice for a really long time was the quote about life is 5% what happens to you and 95% how you react to it. I'm not saying I got that exactly word for word, and I can't think of off the top of my head who that even came from. Probably more important to me than a quote though is the poem If by, oh God, is that by Ralph Waldo Emerson? No, I can't think. No, it's not. It's Rudyard Kipling. So the poem If by Rudyard Kipling is probably more meaningful to me than a quote. Yeah, so if you haven't checked that out, check it out. Relationship status. I am very happily married to an incredible man who puts up with all my shit. S for season. By far, my favorite season is summer. I do not like the cold. The cold makes me cranky and angry and annoyed. The only thing I like the cold for is if you get to be at home and you get to stay snuggled up in bed with an electric blanket, and yeah. I hate having layer upon layer of clothes on. It just irritates me. And even though I don't like being in the direct sun, so I'm not someone who have not sunbaked since probably very early teenager, I don't like being right in the direct sun, but I love the heat. It makes me happy. I feel alive, and I love summer. T for tarot, first and last. Well, my first tarot deck, which wasn't this exact one, I do have my other one, but I've been modifying it for a long time, is The Beginner's Guide to Tarot. And this is by Juliet Sharman Burke. This goes under a couple of different names. Very, very, very plain backs. And I still stand by the fact that this is an absolutely incredible beginner's tarot deck. One of the reasons why, and again, I'm going off on a tangent, is when I was looking for a beginner deck for somebody, something I noticed with all the traditional RWS decks is that you're not getting that it's the Two of Cups in words. And when I was specifically looking for this person, because they're younger, because they needed more guidance, that was a bit of a problem because it meant they had to think more and learn more. Whereas this one has it on every single card, written what it actually is. So you're not having to think about, okay, yes, it might have the two. Some of them will have the symbol for the cup in different decks, but just having it in word form, this is the Two of Cups, this is like the Ten of Pentacles, whatever it is. Yeah, so I stand by that as still an incredible beginner's deck, and I love it. Last tarot deck I finally got my Modern Witch Tarot, which I first ordered on the 11th of January, and presumably the first one got lost in the mail. It was supposed to be 3 to 8 days. I gave it an excessive amount of time given the fires in Australia and the hold-ups with Australia Post because of all the fires. And it finally arrived yesterday and I am totally in love. I know you've all seen it 100 times, but I am just blown away by this deck and I have struggled to put it down ever since I've got it. So yeah, so that was my first and my last tarot deck. Okay, U for upset. What upsets me the most? People who are selfish and lack empathy. Ignorance, arrogance. Yeah. That really, really gets to me. And it gets to me more and really upsets me more when it is very closely tied to me, in the sense of if it's a family member or something like that. Vlog. V for vlog, sorry. Which are you most proud of and which is your most popular? My most popular is the one entitled General Catch Up and Chit Chat. And that's had, I don't know, about 1,500 views, I think, which shocked me when I actually went and looked, because I don't look at my statistics ever. I purely did it for this video. And the one I'm most proud of would be the first one, because it meant I took the plunge and I put it out there. W for weakness. My weakness is my children. Big time. In the sense of, well, in so many ways, but in the sense of if something is going on with them, I get way too emotionally invested. It gets to me on a way too emotional level, and even though I know the logic, I know what to do, I know how to handle it, I'm constantly teaching other people in my practice how to be okay with, you know, all the different things that come along with children and teenagers and all of that. It's my biggest weakness in, I guess, practicing what I preach. And yeah, so definitely my children are my biggest weakness. X for X-rated. Tell us something naughty you've done. I am not an overly exciting person. I've done stupid things in my lifetime. And the one thing that would probably come under being X-rated, it was not really X-rated in a sense of, I don't know, being something good or wonderful. And I'm not making much sense here, but basically the point to that is the only thing that would come under that very, very deeply and involves someone from the past. It involves a whole huge story behind it, and because I am not the only person involved in that, I'm not going to talk about that. Y for yesteryear. Your favorite year so far and why? I had to really think about this one, because every year, particularly years, you know, obviously the ones that first come to our head are the ones that have significance to us, like, you know, maybe first year of uni, or teenage years, or childhood years, or, you know, first year out of uni, first year of being married, you know, are kind of those first ones that come to mind. But in all the things that I think I thought about, there have been incredible moments in those years, but there's also been a lot of hard shit as well. And I really struggled with this. And upon thinking, I would probably say the best year was 2003, when I had my daughter, because she was my first child. It was everything I wanted, was to be a mom. I did actually mention that in the what I wanted to be, because yes, as I actually got older, even though I had these other careers that I wanted, first and foremost, I wanted to be a wife and a mum. And that might sound cliche, but it is what I wanted. I wanted to be a mum first and foremost. And I think it was probably the best year because it was one that was filled with, I guess, less external drama, less emotional drama. Not that being a first-time mum is not difficult by any stretch, but maybe actually even into her second year. So maybe more into 2004, she could do more, and our days were spent just painting like 10 times a day and bathing her 10 times a day because her version of painting was painting herself. So lots of stuff like that, and it was just a far more carefree time, I would say, for myself. Okay, and Z for Zen. What do you do to relax and stay calm? Tarot is definitely a huge one. It's kind of my go-to if I want to tune the world out. Sometimes that's not a good thing because it's avoiding what needs to be dealt with. But tarot is definitely something for me. And whether that is just looking through a deck, sometimes that can mean getting a new deck. It can be doing readings, but sometimes it's literally just sitting and shuffling my cards. I can find that really, really relaxing, just sitting, shuffling my cards. Aside from that, I find things like watching the water very relaxing, but I'm not that close to it, so it's not something I can just do. My other go-to relaxing way of staying calm is just the general day-to-day, I guess you could call it, routine of having coffee with my hubby in the morning. Sometimes we chat about lots, sometimes we don't chat about anything much at all. And then having coffee with him when we're both home from work of an evening, and that's probably my best way of staying calm as well. I do love meditation, absolutely love meditation. Favorite meditations most definitely come from Dr. Joe Dispenza, out of this book, Becoming Supernatural. Life-changing meditations, but I'm the first to admit I have fallen off the wheel at doing that consistently, and it's something I need desperately to put back in my life right now. But yeah, I would have to say that the way I stay most relaxed and calm, aside from just being with my tarot in whatever form that is that routine of coffee and chatting and having that communication with my hubby. And that can be from general chit chat and barely saying anything at all because neither of us have anything to talk about, down to really deep conversations. So yeah, that is it. That is my A to Z of Get to Know Your Tarot Tubers. Completely rambled in there and going off topic, which is very true to form for me. I've been loving watching everybody's videos and I can't wait to see more. So I will chat to all you beautiful souls soon. Mwah. Bye guys.